Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Thank you, Evan. Today's guest is Admiral RJ ZAP Zlatoper. Community involvement is deeply entrenched in his heart and mind, serving in more than half a dozen education and community-oriented organizations as member of the board of directors or as trustee. He has received numerous honors and accolades during his tenure with the United States Navy and has performed equally well at the helm of several private sector companies. In the year 2000, he became the 24th trustee of the Estate of James Campbell after years of serving the military and the high technology sector. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Admiral RJ ZAP Zlatoper. Welcome to our show, RJ ZAP Zlatoper.
All right. Hi, Carrie.
It's such a tongue twister to say ZAP Zlatoper, but that's such an awesome name. So, you know, cats have 9 lives, and it seems like you've had a few yourselves. Could you tell us about the many things that you've been involved in for your career?
Talking about just a quick chronological swing?
Sure.
I've been through 4 careers, and I think I'm about to start on my 5th. And by that, I started out in the Navy as a Navy pilot, flew on aircraft carriers for probably 25 years, and then essentially became a senior officer in the Navy and a staff officer, if you will, an operational guy, and then served about 10 years as an admiral, and 12 of those years in Washington, so I'm a bureaucrat guy. And then after I finished my Navy career, I went back to the mainland because I couldn't find anything to allow me to stay out here at the moment. And I ran a software company, took them public, and it was a really exciting 3.5 years. And then lo and behold, I had a great opportunity to make my 4th career move, if you will, and come back out here as the trustee for the Campbell estate, and now I'm a real estate guy.
In the Navy as an admiral, what's the difference, do you think, that separates admirals from, I guess, the rest of the bunch? Everyone wants to be admiral, I would assume. I
think a lot of it is, I used to say, is luck. And by that I mean in pretty much everything in life. You know, there are 2 things you can control in life, I've always said, and that's your attitude and your effort. And everything else is sort of the right place at the right time. And the admiral side, I think you can earn a captaincy, an 06 level. But when you move up to admiral, you have to sort of be lucky enough to be the guy that gets chosen because you have some certain skill. In fact, Evan, it's interesting, I was the chairman of the selection committee for one board when I was a 4-star admiral. We picked 26 new admirals, 1-stars every year. And I chaired that board, and we had 1,125 captains that we were going to consider. We could only pick 26. It was very easy to go through records and get down to that last 90. You know, they sort of stood out from everyone else on their effort and their attitude. But to go from 90 down to 26, it was really a tough cut. And when we made the announcement, I got to talk to all the new admirals when they came back to town. I said, you know, congratulations on your selection, but I'd like to tell you that if we had thrown away the 26 of you and picked number 27 through 52, I don't think the Navy ever would have noticed, and the nation wouldn't have either. It's that, so just happened to be lucky. And by luck, I mean the year that I picked the people, we needed financial managers. So if you had a background in financial management, that helped you. If we needed operational people because we had something going on in Iraq, then that would help.
How many admirals are there at once?
In the U.S. Navy, there are about, surprisingly, some 120 different admirals, maybe 5 or 6 or 4-stars, about 15 to 20 are 3-stars, and then the remainder, maybe another 100 or so, are.
Do you still think it's luck to get from that 26 to the 4?
Well, I don't think it's luck at all. I think it's skill and hard work, but I think you also have to have a modicum of being in the right place at the right time. When I say luck, I happen to have had a master's degree where I had a finance background, so it helped me because that was at a time that they were looking for finance people. And so it certainly wasn't luck in that sense, but it was fortunate that I had that background, because there's no question.
What are the traits that you're seeing in the 26 admirals and then the 4 admirals that make it to the next level that maybe they all share, but maybe others may not?
I think it's pretty much the same traits that you see anybody excel in business in general or any large organization. Integrity is a very big part of it. A lot of motivation to work, a lot of foresight, and just good management practices. It's interesting. This drifts a little away from the specific question, but I think it comes back to it, Evan. I sat down and kept track of the different, quote, management systems that I operated. 33 years I spent in the Navy, in the different management systems. We had the 5-year defense plan, we had the planning, programming, budgeting system, we had total quality management, we had zero-based budgeting, and we had about 7 or 8 different management systems that we applied during the time that I spent in the Navy. They changed with every administration, with new secretaries of defense, and yet they all had some common units. So I came up with what I called the Zlatoper management system, and it sort of fits into all of those. And that was, I don't care whether it was Deming's 14 points for total quality management or the 7 steps of Stephen Covey's effective leaders. They all sort of fell into what I felt was a common ground, and that was 4 points. And that is, you have a goal, you make a plan, you work hard, and you take care of your people. And by taking care of people, it's not just the people that work for you, but the people that work with you and your bosses. So you keep your bosses happy, you keep your peers happy, and by that I mean not giggling happy, but satisfied that you're being a productive team member, and you take care of the men and women that work for you to make sure that they have a chance to move up and sort of stand on your shoulders and move on. So those 4 points. And I think that's the common thing that I saw in all those people that made the first step up to the 4-star. You know, it's interesting. This might drift a little from the way we were talking. You started this question, but I also was the chief of personnel for the Navy, assigned all the flag officers and all this type of thing, and I therefore, when we pick the 26 new flag officers every year, they come back to Washington, they spend a week. We call it knife and fork school, where they give them briefings on areas they might not have already heard things, and how the system works at the flag officer level. And then I was the one guy that came in and gave them the only, and everyone would preface it by saying, congratulations, you've reached the epitome of your command and your dedication to the military here, and this is your service promotion. I was the one guy to deliver them bad news. And by that I mean I came in and I said, congratulations on your selection, but I'm the chief of personnel, and I'm going to tell you that of the 26 of you, all but about 6 of you are going to retire in 5 years. Or less, because you're 1-star admirals, and we're only going to pick, in a year and a half, we're going to pick 40% of you, or maybe 50%, to be 2-star admirals, and from that, then we're going to pick 2 or 3 to be 3-star admirals. And so, don't worry about your 2nd star, your 3rd star, your 4th star. Worry about doing the best job you can. Right now, as a 1-star, I can guarantee you'll get the best shot to be a 2-star or 3-star. And guess what? When you retire, no one's going to know how many stars you had. They're just going to know, my grandfather was an admiral in the Navy. No, yeah. And so that was the thing I always felt, and it applies even now, no matter what you do, whether you're doing it here in Hawaii or in Washington, D.C., in the military. But whatever it is, do something that you're excited about doing, and then do your best. And I can almost guarantee you that people will recognize that, and then you'll be able to move up from that.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.